Everything you thought you knew about sea monsters? Complete mythology. Until 2004, scientists insisted the Kraken was pure sailor fantasy. Drunken stories from desperate men hallucinating in the vast ocean. Then we photographed one, alive, in the deep, and it was worse than the legend. For 2,000 years, Nordic sailors swore massive tentacled beasts dragged entire ships into the abyss. Arms thick as tree trunks, eyes the size of dinner plates, bodies longer than whaling vessels. Scientists called them liars, superstitious fools inventing monsters to explain their incompetence. Turns out, the sailors were right. The creature exists, and it's even stranger, more alien, more terrifying than any medieval woodcut ever depicted. But here's what'll haunt you tonight. We didn't just dismiss the Kraken as myth. We got almost everything about it catastrophically wrong. Its size, its behavior, its intelligence, even which species we were actually talking about. Because there isn't one Kraken, there are two, and we confused them for over a century. Let's rewrite the legend. I'm taking you into the abyss where scientists finally found the monster. We're uncovering what the Kraken really is and exposing exactly how we got it so spectacularly, embarrassingly wrong for so long. Picture this, 1857. A Danish naturalist named Japetus Steenstrup stands before the Society of Scandinavian Naturalists holding what looks like a massive chunk of rotting flesh. It's a beak, but not from any bird. This thing is the size of 2 fists, hard as stone, sharp enough to slice through steel cable. It came from something that washed ashore in Denmark, a creature so massive, so unlike anything in the known biological record that Steenstrup does something radical. He declares the Kraken real, gives it a scientific name, Architeuthis dux, the giant squid, ruler of the deep. The scientific community loses its collective mind. Half think he's a genius. The other half think he's destroyed his career over fishermen's tales, because nobody has ever seen one of these things alive. For the next 150 years, all we had were corpses, dead specimens washing ashore, rotting carcasses found floating in shipping lanes, chunks of tentacle pulled from the stomachs of sperm whales, enough to prove something existed, not enough to understand what. Scientists measured the remains, cataloged the anatomy, built reconstructions, and made assumptions, lots of assumptions, almost all of them wrong. We assumed giant squid were slow, stupid deep-sea scavengers, drifting aimlessly through the abyss, eating carrion, avoiding confrontation, basically oversized jellyfish with arms. We were so catastrophically, hilariously wrong. Fast forward to September 30th, 2004. A Japanese research team led by Tsunemi Kubodera is floating 900 kilometers south of Tokyo. They've deployed a baited camera rig at 900 meters depth. Standard deep-sea research, nothing unusual. Until the line goes absolutely berserk. Something massive has grabbed the bait, the camera triggers, and for the first time in human history, we photograph a giant squid in its natural habitat, alive, hunting. The images are grainy, dark, but unmistakable. A massive tentacle, covered in dinner plate-sized suckers lined with serrated rings, wrapped around the bait like a vice. The creature fought the line for over 4 hours. When it finally tore free, it left behind an 18-foot tentacle segment. The team analyzed the footage frame by frame and realized something disturbing. This wasn't some slow, drifting scavenger. This was an aggressive apex predator, fast, powerful, hunting with precision in total darkness. Everything we thought we knew, gone, deleted, obsolete. But the revelations were just beginning. Because in 2006, Kubodera's team did something even more insane. They filmed one, alive, moving, hunting. The footage is nightmare fuel. The squid moves like liquid shadow. One moment, it's invisible against the black water. The next, it's wrapped around prey with tentacles extending over 30 feet. The attack happens in seconds. The precision is surgical. And then we see the eyes. Giant squid have the largest eyes in the animal kingdom. Each one is 25 centimeters across, bigger than a human head, bigger than any terrestrial creature's eyes. They evolved this way for one reason, to hunt in near-total darkness at depths where sunlight is a distant memory. Those eyes can detect the faintest bioluminescence from hundreds of feet away. They can track prey through pitch-black water using nothing but the subtle glow of disturbed plankton. It's like having military-grade night vision built into your skull. But here's where it gets truly unsettling. The beak we talked about earlier, that thing can bite through steel. The material is harder than most metals. Scientists still don't fully understand how organic tissue can achieve that density. And the beak isn't even the worst part. Each sucker on each tentacle is lined with serrated rings, sharp, rotating, designed to grip and tear flesh simultaneously. Sperm whales, apex predators themselves, are found covered in circular scars from giant squid suckers, permanent reminders of battles fought in the deep. Before we go deeper into the abyss, and trust me, what's coming next will completely shatter everything you thought you knew about these creatures. If you're fascinated by the hidden monsters science told us didn't exist, hit that subscribe button, because the Kraken story gets even more disturbing. There's a second species, bigger, meaner, with hooks instead of suckers, and we only discovered it existed in 2007. You won't want to miss this. So we've established giant squid are real, terrifying, apex predators with eyes like satellite dishes and beaks that can crush bone. Scientists finally admit the sailors were right. Case closed, right? We found the Kraken. Mystery solved. Everyone goes home. Except... In 1925, a British research vessel called the Discovery was trawling Antarctic waters when nets hauled up something that didn't make sense. 2 tentacle arms. Massive. But covered in swiveling hooks instead of suckers. Nobody knew what to make of it. The arms were cataloged, stored, and basically forgotten because they didn't match any known species. And without a body, you can't classify a new species. Decades pass. More arms wash ashore, always in Antarctic or sub-Antarctic waters, always with those bizarre rotating hooks. Scientists start calling them Colossal Squid as a placeholder, but still no body, no confirmation. Until 2003. A New Zealand fishing vessel operating in Antarctic waters hauled in a Patagonian toothfish, and wrapped around it, still alive, was a juvenile squid unlike anything previously recorded. It had the hooks, the size. Everything matched the mysterious arms from 1925. For the first time, we had a complete specimen, and it was already 6 meters long. A juvenile. The crew froze it, shipped it to New Zealand's National Museum, Te Papa Tongarewa. Scientists thawed it, examined it, and realized with growing horror that if this was a baby, how big do the adults get? They didn't have to wait long for an answer. February 22nd, 2007, Antarctic waters again. A New Zealand fishing boat called San Aspiring pulled up a long line from 2,000 meters depth. And on the end, very much alive, very much pissed off, was an adult colossal squid. It took the crew 2 hours to haul it aboard. The creature fought the entire way. When they finally got it on deck, they measured it. 4.2 meters long, 450 kilograms, and it wasn't even fully grown, based on beak size. Yes, they measure squid maturity by beak dimensions. This specimen was still a teenager. Scientists estimate a fully mature colossal squid could reach 12 to 14 meters. Some researchers believe they could exceed 600 kilograms, maybe more. We honestly don't know, because we've never caught a full-sized adult. But here's the truly disturbing part. Remember how giant squid have suckers with serrated rings? Terrifying, right? Colossal squid said, "Hold my beer," and evolved triple-pointed swiveling hooks. Each tentacle is lined with these things. They rotate 360 degrees. They're sharp enough to pierce whale blubber. And they don't just grip, they impale. Imagine being grabbed by an arm covered in dozens of spinning fish hooks, each one digging deeper the harder you struggle. That's what being caught by a colossal squid is like. And we've been confusing these two species for over a century. So let's break down exactly how wrong we were, because it's genuinely embarrassing. Error 1. We thought there was one Kraken species. Reality. There are 2 distinct species. Giant squid, Architeuthis ducks, and colossal squid, Mesonychoteuthis hamiltoni. They evolve separately, live in different regions, hunt differently. They're as different from each other as lions are from tigers. Error 2. We assumed giant squid was the largest. Reality. Colossal squid is heavier, bulkier, and possibly longer when accounting for body mass. Giant squid has longer tentacles, but colossal squid has more mass. It's the difference between a python and an anaconda. One's longer, the other's more terrifying. Error 3. We believed they were slow, passive scavengers. Reality. Both species are aggressive apex predators. Giant squid are built for speed, chasing down fast-moving fish in mid-water depths. Colossal squid are ambush predators, lurking in the abyss, using those hooks to grab and hold prey that strays too close. Error 4. We thought they were relatively stupid. Reality. Squid have the largest brain-to-body ratio of any invertebrate. Their nervous systems are incredibly complex. They can learn, adapt, problem solve. Some researchers believe they might be among the most intelligent creatures in the ocean. We just don't know because we've barely studied them alive. Error 5. We assumed they avoided sperm whales. Reality, they fight sperm whales. Constantly. Sperm whales dive to 2,000 plus meters specifically to hunt giant and colossal squid. Every adult sperm whale is covered in scars from squid suckers and hooks. These aren't minor scrapes. These are battle wounds from creatures fighting for their lives in total darkness. And here's the thing that keeps marine biologists up at night. We still don't know how many there are. Think about this. Giant squid and colossal squid live at depths between 300 and 2,000 plus meters. That's deeper than most submarines can go. Darker than the darkest night you've ever experienced. Colder than a walk-in freezer. And under pressure, that would crush a car. We've explored maybe 5% of the ocean at these depths, which means 95% of their habitat is completely unknown to us. We've photographed giant squid alive maybe a dozen times. We filmed colossal squid alive once. That's it. That's our entire visual record of living Kraken. Everything else? Corpses, guesswork, extrapolation. We don't know how they reproduce. We've never seen them mate. We don't know how long they live. We've never tracked one long enough to find out. We don't know their population numbers. Could be thousands, could be millions. We genuinely have no idea. And here's what really haunts researchers. There might be more species we haven't discovered yet. In 2012, researchers analyzing DNA from various squid specimens found genetic markers that didn't match any known species. The samples came from deep-sea trenches, areas we've barely explored. The implication is terrifying. There could be other giant squid species down there, different, larger, more adapted to the abyss. We might still not know what the Kraken really is. So why does this matter? Why should we care about giant tentacle monsters lurking in the deep? Because the ocean covers 71% of Earth's surface, and we know more about the surface of Mars than we know about our own ocean depths. The Kraken story isn't just about monsters, it's about humility. For 2,000 years, sailors told us something massive and terrifying lived in the deep. Scientists dismissed them as superstitious idiots. Turns out the sailors were right. They'd seen things we couldn't imagine. And if we were that catastrophically wrong about the Kraken, something that left physical evidence washing ashore for centuries, what else are we wrong about? The ocean is not empty. It's not mapped. It's not understood. And every time we send cameras into the abyss, we find something that shouldn't exist. Something that rewrites textbooks. Colossal squid has the largest eyes of any animal in history. Bigger than any dinosaurs. Bigger than any whales. Those eyes evolved to see in near total darkness. What are they looking at? What else is down there that we haven't found yet? Giant squid can change color instantly using chromatophores in their skin. They can blend into shadows, become invisible, flash warning patterns. We don't know why they evolved this ability, because we've never seen them use it in the wild for more than a few minutes. And both species have 3 hearts. Blue blood based on copper instead of iron. Beaks harder than most industrial materials. Nervous systems so sophisticated they might rival vertebrates in complexity. These aren't prehistoric relics clinging to existence. These are hyper-evolved apex predators that have been perfecting their craft for millions of years while we were still figuring out how to walk upright. The Kraken is real. The sailors were right. And we've spent the last 150 years slowly, painfully, admitting we were wrong about almost everything. We were wrong about the species count, wrong about their size, wrong about their behavior, wrong about their intelligence, wrong about their weapons, wrong about their eyes, wrong about their distribution. The only thing we got right? They live in the deep, and they have tentacles. But here's the final twist, the most disturbing realization of all. We've photographed them alive maybe 15 times total across both species. We've captured maybe half a dozen live specimens, all juveniles or teenagers. We've never seen a fully mature adult colossal squid. We've never witnessed them reproduce. We've never tracked their migration patterns. Which means everything I just told you, all those facts, all that science, represents maybe 1% of what there is to know about these creatures. The other 99%, still down there, still unknown, still waiting in the abyss. The Vikings carved Kraken into their ships to ward off evil. Medieval maps marked deep water with "Here be monsters." Sailors refused to sail certain routes because they'd seen things that terrified them. We called it mythology. We were wrong. The Kraken exists. 2 species, possibly more. Hunting in darkness, fighting whales, armed with hooks and beaks and eyes that can see through the void. And somewhere, right now, in the deepest, coldest, darkest parts of the ocean, there's a colossal squid, larger than anything we've ever documented, older than any specimen we've studied, and it has no idea we exist. Maybe that's for the best, because if the sailors were right about the Kraken existing, what else were they right about? Sleep well.